Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucci, joined as always by some hobo I found in the street.
Hey.
And this is the Two Nerds Podcast. Before we get started, of course, we need to remind you that in the description are links not only to my books, which you can buy if you want, but also to Super Blizzard's Shining Wasato Bandcamp page. Let's Get Hardcore is our theme music. He gave us that to use for free because he's a fucking saint. He also makes video games, awesome shit like Joy Lancer, that's the main one. But he's got all kinds of ideas, and if you support him, you give him the money, he might make other cool-ass wrestling tunes, he might make other cool-ass video games. He's just a cool-ass guy in general. So, shout out to him for that. And that's that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, how you fuckers doing?
Alright, listener.
This is the boy. I didn't say your name.
That's fine. They know who I am.
Well, what if this is their first listen?
Alright, this isn't a comic book. It's not every podcast is someone's first
I don't know,
podcast.
motherfucker. Did you go back to the beginning of the first TGS podcast and be like, what's going on here?
No.
Okay. Now, I did with the Comic Book Men podcast when you were like, listen to Kevin Smith. But, like, that's because I'm that kind of weirdo.
But, yeah, I am the boy. If you weren't familiar, if this is a weird one to jump onto, but alright.
I will agree with that. This is a fucking weird one to jump onto.
So, listener, we had a dilemma facing us going into this podcast. You know that we typically try and stick to a topic. Here's the problem. We had like 5 or 6 topics that none of them were actually enough to fill an entire podcast. So we're just going to bounce around them until we get to an hour or cover them all.
Like literally next week though, we're going to be up to our fucking ears in podcast material.
Right? Next week is going to be...
It's going to be glorious.
Next week should be, if all plans go according to plan, should be Age of Ultron.
Yeah, that, and then you and Billy will be doing the podcast for Extreme Rules.
Oh my god, Extreme Rules is next week. I have to watch that?
Oh man, I have the day off.
Ha! You're stuck in the house. That means you have to watch it too or go in another room.
Wait, I can put on headphones and play Elder Scrolls Online. Huzzah!
Damn. What have you been up to recently? Elder Scrolls Online is one of the things you mentioned, yes?
Yeah, fuck. Okay, so, man, getting the ball rolling with the big one. I'm sorry if this turns into White talks in a computer for 20 minutes, but I have feels. We'll start with my MMO rant. Maybe we can split the MOBA rant from that. So, you guys remember one of our earlier episodes. If you don't, look at our fucking channel. It's the Elder Scrolls one. Or the MMOs one. I think we might have had 2. But I talked about playing the Elder Scrolls Online. I was in the beta. And Boy and I both played it for a little bit. And it
Past
was...
the tutorial, into like maybe 20-30 minutes past it. That's what I did.
And that's about what I did. It was not...
Wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good, listener.
Like, when you're making an MMO, your baseline should be discount WoW. Your baseline should be... I'm not even going to say Aladd's, because I think Aladd's succeeds WoW in a lot of ways. But, I mean, you should be at least aiming for vanilla WoW. We'll put it that way. Not a lot of bells and whistles, not a lot of neat tricks, but your buttons are on your hotbar, and it's all, feels good, flows well, good customization, clear goal, all that shit. This wasn't hitting that. And worse than that, it wasn't really being Elder Scrollsy.
Which is way, way worse, because when you're selling me an Elder Scrolls MMO, I'm not here for the MMO. Because if I wanted to play an MMO, there's like a bunch of better ones. There's a bunch of ones that I already have, max level characters and items and guilds and shit. If you want to sell me an Elder Scrolls MMO, I'm here for the Elder Scrolls part of that sentence. And the Elder Scrolls MMO did not do this.
Well, and it was also subscription-based. And I've just reached a point in my life where you have got to be giving me something really fucking fantastic for me to pay $15 a month, thereabouts, for your service.
Because I have to be getting $15 worth of fun. If I could spend that money on fun things and have a better time, then I'm not getting my money's worth, and I'll take my fucking funds elsewhere.
I mean, I know it's not that much in the long run, but, especially when you forget about it for a couple months, that shit adds up. we've gotten better about that. I think I canceled WoW last time when I realized I was kind of winding down on it. I had other shit I needed to do. It didn't get away from us. And that feels good. It feels nice to go back to WoW and be like, drop my $15 and be like, yeah, I can role play, I can play Zomax, I can have a great time, and I know I can expect quality.
And then when I'm done, stop paying.
Yeah, I can just stop paying them, and I'll be like, I'm going to play something else for a few months. So recently, I want to say in January, Elder Scrolls Online made the move to free-to-play. And I said these words, listener, I am not even playing this shit again if it goes free-to-play. I'm not paying for the fucking game. It's awful. And it was. But, like the desperate ex-girlfriend that Hulu frequently is, last time...
Dear Christ, Hulu, you needy, okay?
So,
you thirsty,
I
okay?
subscribed to Hulu 2 years ago. Maybe we're coming up on 3 now. And just to see what was on it, just to see what the big deal was. And it's an okay thing. It's just nothing I'm going to use all the time. Unlike, say, Netflix or even Crunchyroll, we watch more than I ever did Hulu, on the reg anyway. I mean, Hulu seems like it's got a bunch of cool original shows and stuff. So, especially since we canceled our cable, I could see picking it up again, but really on a am I using this kind of basis. Kind of like how we have Crunchyroll, even though we're using it a lot right now to watch Rurouni Kenshin and Kuroko. If we go like 3 weeks and don't fucking watch anything, it's probably time to cancel the Crunchyroll for now.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Even canceling Crunchyroll is not a big deal. Ooh, I have to watch ads.
Yeah. I have to watch ads like I did when I watched these back in the day as a child.
And not even as many ads. Or like I do when
and
I watch
usually,
YouTube.
like, better ads.
Yeah, they're just ads for other anime. I might like. I don't know, I might cancel my Crunchyroll subscription and find out about anime.
And discover new anime. Pay no money.
I digress. But yeah, after I canceled with Hulu the first time, they're like, alright, well, we're not going to give you any more deals. I was like, I don't fucking care, Hulu. They have sent me an email once every 2 months, approximately. Please come back, we'll give you a free month. Please.
I have a Hulu account. I've never even subscribed to Hulu Plus. They send me free month shit all the time. Just reminding me, hey man, you can have a free month whenever you want. It's no big. I mean, we got you. Please? They are thirsty.
Please watch our good shows. So,
and you know what? No, I'm not going to, because if I'm paying you a comparable amount of money to what I pay Netflix, and you still put ads in my programming, we have a disagreement, you and I, Hulu.
Now I reinstalled and briefly played Elder Scrolls again. They had, I think on launch weekend, they had a free weekend.
Yeah, they had a free weekend. You don't have to buy the game, it's fine, we're free to play. You don't have to do anything, you just download the thing, play it, maybe you'll like it.
But they hadn't changed much. And I played it and I was like, yeah, this is still bad, but I kind of want to see Elsewhere. So I tried to get to Elsewhere and that didn't happen. And I was like, fuck it, I have better things to do with my time. Well, for about 2 weeks now, they've been winding me up about, hey, we're going to have a free weekend. If you played during the beta, why don't you check us out? A lot has changed. And I was like, you thirsty motherfuckers. But then I said, I have Fraps now. I can record stuff for the channel. Worst case scenario, it'll be a lark. And I'm going to keep this brief because I will put the video up later. I might edit it, I might not. So if you have an hour, you're listening to the podcast.
Clearly
you can watch me go, shit, this is good now, shit. Well, wait, okay, this is still a problem. No, fuck, they fixed it.
Apparently, they heard the entire internet say the exact same things we said and went, oh, we'll fix that. And then they did.
I mean, it's not like what I want, what the dream is, which is Skyrim local multiplayer kind of thing. Or even online. I mean, I understand why they couldn't do local multiplayer as much as we love it. But like, isolated multiplayer. Like, hey, come into my Skyrim world and hang out with me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
We talked about it on the podcast before. That's the dream. That's really what everyone wants.
But since that's not an option, this, from what I gather, is about as good as it's gonna get.
It's not bad. I mean, the MMO-ness of it is at a minimum. Instead of casting your spells from a little quick bar like in Skyrim, you cast them from a quick bar like in WoW or League. I mean, it's, your level up is a bit different, but it's different paths to the same sort of Elder Scrolls thing. And more importantly, They fixed the combat so it feels like combat.
I remember that from the beta. The combat felt very floaty and shitty and not very good.
I believe, I forgot I had said this until I read an article mentioning it, but what I said was when I hit something, I want it to feel like I'm hitting something. And it didn't.
And WoW does.
Yeah, even though you're just right-clicking. Now, I mean, this game is, it's like Skyrim. I mean, you fucking swing your sword and shit. The controls are a bit different, but it's nothing that a couple hours of play will, acclimatize you to. But it feels visceral is the word I used. When you hit a guy's shield, it feels like you hit a guy's shield. When you stun a motherfucker, it feels like you stun a motherfucker. So yeah, I've been playing that, and it's really cool.
And what did you do? Just to tell the listener what you did? Tell them what you did?
I bought the game.
That's right, you bought the game.
Well, they gave me a 25% off coupon, and I sure as fuck wasn't going to pay $60 for it.
But you paid 25% off, $60 for it.
I paid, after tax, $48 and some change.
They got him. They got him, listener.
Well, I mean, it's free to play.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's,
It's like Guild Wars 2.
Yeah,
One-time purchase gets you the game.
Look, I liked Guild Wars 2. I own Guild Wars 2, for those who aren't aware. I really like the storylines. I really like a lot of the creativity in the world. There's a lot of cool stuff there. My problem with Guild Wars 2, in a fucking nutshell, and it's like one problem. Well, two. It's so it's, when you level up, you have to do enough beyond the quest, whatever your leveled quest is, that you end up doing most of the quests in whatever your zone in at least twice. Because they have these repeated, it pops up and you can do this thing now kind of quest. That's a little, that's cool in theory if you have enough quests that I don't have to fucking repeat them. But if I have to repeat them, then I'm not, that's worse than WoW. WoW will at least take you to where you need to be with what's in the fucking area. I mean, we usually just run dungeons in WoW, but whatever, Now, this wouldn't be an issue if you could just go do an alternate thing. Like in WoW, we would frequently be like, you know what? I just want to top off this level, let's do some PvP. And there is PvP in Guild Wars, but it boosts you to max level. Which is cool in theory, but you can't use it to level up your character.
So it's mostly just a time waster.
And, I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's like multiplayer in Halo.
It's a game.
Right, yeah. I mean, I was playing the Sylvari, I want to say. They had plant people. And I was really liking their quest line, and I got to level 20-ish. Maybe 30. I can't remember, honestly. And I really liked my class, really liked the character, really liked everything that was going on, but it's just like, I got out of the zone, and it was like, okay, your next thing is here, and it's 2 levels above where you are. Better grind up all those quests in the area again. Fuck it. I don't wanna. I like you, game, but you're making it too hard to play. I don't want to do tedious, fucking busy work.
Grinding is the thing which will murder an MMO for me more than anything.
If your grinding isn't paced well. Like,
if it's paced well, I don't see it as grinding. It's the game. Grinding for me is when it's paced poorly, is when it's shitty and not done very well, and it's just I gotta kill 4,000 more zebras and get their fucking hooves, and then I gotta grab 28 bear asses and then I turn them in, and then I do it again and again and again until I level.
Well, and you know what also helps, I've found, is when you are working toward a goal that feels important. By which I mean, how much time did we spend farming for whatever fucking ore or herb or cloth we needed in WoW to build bags or armor or whatever? And we were like, yeah, great times.
Yep.
Because we set our goal, we want to build like 50 netherweave bags, let's go get some fucking netherweave. So we'd go and do that shit, or you'd go running nodes so you could sell it off in the auction house and become filthy fucking rich so you could buy flight. Super fast flight. That's a goal we set ourselves. We were like, yeah, let's get to that. When the game itself is like, alright, you gotta hit arbitrary barrier 19 in order to go into this zone. I'm sorry, you're only at arbitrary barrier 17.
Best of luck with that.
That's no fun. That's the fucking bouncer. It's not, I want to get into this club because they have really good drinks. It's, I have to get into this club but I can't.
Because my friends are in there.
I can't until I learn how to fight the bouncer, and I have to go whittle a shiv to do that, but only the right kind of shiv, and he tells me when the shiv is right.
I feel like you took this metaphor too far.
I'm gonna shiv some fucking bouncers, is what I'm saying. Nah, I'm playing. I love you bouncers of the world. You keep that rabble out of the club. You want to make sure there's more girls than there are guys, because that's how that shit goes.
I guess. I don't know. I've literally never been to a club with a bouncer, so...
I mean, I have, and you have too, but it wasn't like a bouncer. It was a dude in a cage stamping hands. But I wanted to go like way deeper into this and talk about ups and downs and shit. Oh yeah, I haven't wasted that much of your time. I can do it briefly. And I'll talk more about Elder Scrolls in the future. But, I found a lot of MMOs, and I've been playing a lot of them. Like, if they're free to play or have like a demo period or something, I'm like, alright, let's see what you got. Because I'm always looking for something cool to do. There's just so much out there that's not worth a damn. It is astounding. Like, I can't even... The next AAA MMO that gets announced, unless it's Fallout, I will be surprised if anybody's fucking excited for it.
Because, oh good, another one. Fucking add it on the pile.
Like, oh, what are you gonna do to stand out from WoW? Are you gonna try? Are you gonna bother?
WildStar was massively disappointing.
I love WildStar, I just don't want to pay for it. That's literally, okay, if money wasn't an object, I'd be playing WildStar after this podcast was over.
I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't. It was pretty massively disappointing for me.
It was exactly what I wanted. Like, literally, every expectation I had, they met it.
It's just whatever, like, the gameplay they showed me looked fun in practice, didn't have fun with it.
I mean, and that's fair, you know, agree to disagree. I was having a great time and, you know, whatever. WildStar was one of those that, if they went free to play, I would have already... if they're like, okay, we're fully free to play now, I'm not doing the token system anymore, because that's a cool system, but you have to be like...
You have to be playing WildStar.
You have to be fucking dedicated. And I'm a filthy casual, so... yeah, if that shit went free to play, I'd be all over it. I would be all the fuck over it. On the other side, you're on the internet. You know I watch internet stuff. We're fans of Dodger in this household.
Yes.
YouTube sensation. She's been going on and on about Final Fantasy 14. Is that the MMO one?
No, what? I don't know.
Yeah, 11 and 14. She got into it and I was like, wow, maybe Final Fantasy 14 is good. Some of the people I followed on Twitter were talking about it. I think even Pro Jared was like, you know, if it wasn't subscription based, I'd be playing Final Fantasy 14. So I was like, what the fuck? I'll check it out. You know, I got friends I know who play it. It wasn't... Like, to me, if you're gonna be, you know, existing property, the MMO, you best come with a lot of existing property. And, I mean, I feel like...
I nodded. It's a fucking podcast.
We're gonna be talking about Daredevil here soon, too. We finished that series over the first season, so, it's an appropriate joke.
Yeah, I just
humor.
nodded.
You're the good humor, man, you and your ice creams. Yeah. Now I'm sure a lot of people went through this with Final Fantasy XI, but I never fucking played Final Fantasy XI. This is back before I had a computer that could run shit. More than Daggerfall. Played the fuck out of Daggerfall, but, so, you know, this is probably around a lot of people have tread, but it's not Final Fantasy. It's not either of them. It's this shitty mishmash of both. All three. Final Fantasy universes, shitty future, awesome, you know, medieval times, and, I can't think, Ivalice, which is, like, sort of steampunky.
The Final Fantasy. The thing you think of when you think Final Fantasy setting. Not exactly medieval, but sort of like steampunk magic thing.
Well, yeah, they're not quite there. Ivalice is what they did in Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy 13. It's like...
13's set in Ivalice?
Yeah.
The one with lightning?
No, I'm sorry, 12. 12
Okay.
Ivalice. I apologize. No, 13 is in stupid, shitty future world. which is a bunch of different settings. Ivalice is actually its own little, like, it has places and people and shit like that. That's kind of nice. You know, I like that Final Fantasy isn't always the same, but I'm glad they picked a cool world to have, all that shit in. But I digress. It's not enough of any of those. It's like this shitty mishmash of a bunch of them, and it doesn't work well. And they don't include regular Final Fantasy races as playable characters. That's always baffled me. Humans, sure. Elves, okay. There are a couple of Final Fantasy games that have elves. I'm not gonna harp on you for that. Cat people?
Dude, no, I'm sorry. Cat people is like one of their major demographics. Of course there's cat people.
Well, okay, and that's fair, but like, there's not been any in Final Fantasy.
Right, but alright, what are the Final Fantasy playable races? What do you consider the playable races of Final Fantasy? Humans? Some elves? You want to play a Moogle?
Yeah, I'd love to play a fucking Moogle.
That's about it.
There's also wolf people.
How is that different from cat people?
Well, okay. You know the difference between a werewolf and a cat girl?
Right, no, I can get it from the word wolf people. I understand that. But
No. I mean, just to what's the difference between that and cat people? Like, it's not just that they're dogs. Well, you know, wild dogs. It's that they're full-blown furries, not, you know, a person with cat ears.
Okay.
Like, they're Worgen.
Right, no, I got it.
Alright.
You didn't need to explain that to me.
I just wanted to be clear for the listener. Ultimo Dragon, he doesn't play much Final Fantasy, so I want to make sure he's down. He's sitting in his house like, you fuckers, I play all the Final Fantasy. You don't even know about this shit. I beat Final Fantasy 2, not the SNES American one. I beat the real Final Fantasy 2, back when it was on NES. The Famicom.
I feel like your Ultimo Dragon
became Macho Man? I don't know what happened there. Whatever.
Maybe he's doing a bit in honor of the Macho Man.
Fuck. Anyway, there have been Russo would have made more sense. The cat guys from Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
They're existing races in the Final Fantasy universe. Moogles, fucking Yetis, fucking, I'm trying to think of other races. The Burmesians from Final Fantasy IX. The Ivalice races would be fine. But instead, fuck humans and elves, fine, whatever, I can understand it. Dwarves! Fucking dwarves! There are more dwarves in Final Fantasy than there are elves!
They can't do humans, elves, and dwarves. They're WoW. Human, elves, and dwarves is WoW.
Alright.
WoW or the Lord of the Rings.
I know, it's standard fantasy shit, that's fine. But when you get to those filler races, they added elves. Why didn't they add dwarves? There are more dwarves in Final Fantasy than there are elves, was my point that I was making. It should have just been humans, dwarves.
Are pretty.
Clearly, you haven't seen the last two remaining races. Giant, ugly, square people, tiny, hideous Cupid dolls.
People think the tiny, hideous Cupid dolls are cute.
They're wrong.
And there's an ugly race. There's one. This is a big portion of their fan base wants to play something kawaii desu.
And that's fine. But they could be a Moogle.
Or they could be one of those Cupid dolls from Final Fantasy XI.
Well, and in Final Fantasy XI in the first place, why were these the races?
Don't fucking know.
That's kind of what the point I was driving at is, if you're gonna make Final Fantasy as a game, as an MMO, make it Final Fantasy-er. I wasn't playing the game and I was like, this is Final Fantasy, but an MMO. This feels like all the fluff and lore of the collected Final Fantasies, but like MMO form. It felt like, this is an MMO. It's got, I am a dragoon. Not that I can jump, but that is indeed what my class says. And there's a Moogle, it's gone. I didn't play it much. I'm not trying to say I got to the end. I know you get summons and shit. Blah, 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 blah. I know you kind of get it, like, later, but you should smack me in the face with it. Elder Scrolls, after the tutorial, once you actually start questing, is like, hey motherfucker, do you want some skooma? Because I got some fucking skooma. This is really premium shit, man. It's not that shit that'll fuck you up. This is pure. And I was like, dude, tell me more about this skooma. And they were like, look, how much you want to know about Khajiit gods? I'm talking about shit you've only read in actual books in the game. People don't talk about it. And I was like, oh, yes! Hey, you ever seen a marmor? You want to? Yeah.
So what you're saying
is the Elder Scrolls Online is the best drug dealer ever. And if you're going to make a title, an existing franchise, into an MMO, you best bring them good drugs.
You best, you got shit to peddle. Peddle your fucking wares. Like, you want to hook people in? You want to hook your new users? Give them that first taste, and then you hook them. You don't give them bullshit that they have to get through to get to the thing they want to do, because then they'll leave. As someone who's left a lot of MMOs, I can tell you, if you don't give me what I came here for, I will go do something the fuck else.
Well, and that's like, even the Lord of the Rings MMO, as little as we played it, it felt fucking Lord of the Ringsy. We were talking to NPCs that were like, oh, this is so-and-so's dad's dad who fought to take over this shit. And we were like, cool, I don't know fuck about that, but that's the thing. That's very Lord of the Ringsy.
And it felt like Lord of the Rings. It gave me what I was here for. It gave me that feel.
Yeah.
I wish I haven't played an MMO in fucking 8 months, so I don't have anything to say.
Not since the last time you and I were playing WoW. Well, I mean, our schedules aren't aligned that much, and you're not super into soloing MMOs anymore. You kind of wore yourself out on that one.
It's just that real talk, my laptop reached the age where I can no longer experience enough of the MMO at a good enough quality for me to really enjoy it for almost every MMO.
Yeah.
And since I'm not usually on the large computer, I'm usually on my laptop, I just find other shit to do that I can have fun with.
And, that makes sense. I mean, that's my general philosophy, if we didn't live in a world where Brandy needed Dragon Age, like that sweet, sweet crack we were talking about just a moment ago, and we didn't have an Xbox One, I wouldn't be sitting around, kicking myself in the ass because I couldn't play Mortal Kombat 10. Not that we have it, but for, point of reference, I'd be like, I got MK9. I'll play the fuck out of that.
But I wish I had something to add to that, but I don't.
No, I mean, that's pretty succinct. In the future, we'll get you a newer rig.
Well, yeah, that's of course. It's just at the moment, I don't fucking.
Yeah. So, you wanted to talk about some stuff. I kind of went into rant mode a little bit there. I've got plenty more saved up for later, but what's on the plate? What's on the boys' plate lately?
Oh, well, we finished Daredevil.
That's true.
We could wrap up our thoughts on that. We did a whole podcast on the first half. I think about the first half of Daredevil.
Yeah, approximately.
Second half is just as good as the first half, just so you know, listener.
Yeah.
I will say, you and I both, there's a spoiler, so we're not going to tell you what it is, because we're bouncing around too much. I don't feel like giving it to you, and I'd rather you watch it. But they did one thing that both Eric and I think was a stupid goddamned move.
It was just...
It does nothing but hurt them in the long run.
If it were a movie and they'd done that, I would have been okay with it. It's something that happens a couple episodes, I want to say 3 episodes before the finale.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Somewhere in there.
2.
It's a big thing, and when it happens, you'll know what the fuck we're talking about. You'll be like, oh.
That.
And
it's really good. It's a really good story moment.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fits the characters involved and what they would do. Everything works. Internally, it drew me out of the story, because externally I went, well, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was just a bad decision for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as it were.
But, aside from that one very small bad decision, I can do nothing but absolutely push for you to watch this series. It's not the best thing ever created by man, but it is really fucking good and totally worth your time. Outside of the internet, and usually actually very taciturn about my personal preferences and my public life, at my day job, I don't tell people about stuff that I do. It's just, I'm a private guy. I have fucking suggested to every human being who's asked me what I've been doing, watch Daredevil. Since I watched that show, I have said that to everybody who asked me what I've been doing. So what are you doing at work? Watching Daredevil. You should watch Daredevil. And then I tell them why they should watch Daredevil. Because I want Daredevil to get a second season. Fucking watch Daredevil.
I'm sure it's going to.
Right, I know, but if I can help, I want to help.
Yeah. But this isn't one of those things, like, there's been a lot of shows that people are like, oh, this show's great. And I sit down, I'm like, okay, well, let me watch the first season and see what it is. And it's awful. And they're like, oh, it gets really good after the first season.
Like I said, if you're not going to give me what I came here for, I will go do something the fuck else.
That's how I feel.
If you can't give me, if it takes you the entire first season of a show, half a season I can give you. Half a season is you setting your world up and getting underway. I get that. If it takes you the entire first season, I have better shit to do with my time. I'm not immortal. I have limited spins on this little boo ball, and I'm not going to waste them on your shit.
Daredevil gets going from the first episode.
Yep. First episode.
And it ramps up from there.
And it finishes amazingly, and there's so much shit that is deep comics lore, and they hint towards shit, and it really sets up for a second season very well. But a lot of the second half is really a lot better.
I would say
if you watch it.
Yeah.
So, I know you're here, listener, to listen to our dulcet tones. I would suggest, if you want to know more about Daredevil, watch the fucking show.
I will say, to expand on our thoughts from the last podcast, Kingpin only gets better.
That's true.
Stick was amazing, spot on, and they couldn't have picked a better actor to play him. And the story's really good. Like, everything, it had kept me asking questions. Meta questions, because, you know, given the show, you're sitting around with a certain amount of security that Daredevil isn't going to explode. But I was like, well, how are they going to do this? How are they going to get out of that? That's stupid. Well, okay, everything is cool, right? Because, oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit got uncool real fast.
But
yeah, I think
we finished that.
Yeah, that was fun.
Something happened today that I feel like telling you about, listener. I think I don't know if I've mentioned on the podcast, I played the shit out of the first Assassin's Creed. I got it on GameFly.
Back before GameFly spurned us.
Yeah. I love that game. So when Assassin's Creed 2 came out, I played that. Played Brotherhood. I did not play Revelations. I watched a playthrough of it because a funny series of events led to me getting Assassin's Creed 3 instead of Assassin's Creed Revelations as a present. So I played Assassin's Creed 3. I loved all these games. I really did. I loved most of the characters. I could honestly take or leave Connor Kenway. Ranahadagu, I think is how you say his actual name.
We call him Renekton around the house.
We call him Renekton. But it was a really good series. And then the end of the third fucking game annoyed me so much. Just completely annoyed the piss out of me so much, I decided I was not going to pay any more money for any of those games.
The beginning of the third game pissed me off.
Yep, he got to play Hatham Kenway, who's a pimp, and then they gave him Renekton to play.
I know it happens, so I don't even want to, I'm just like, whatever, I'm just going to walk around, swag as fuck, and feed these pigs corn.
But
fucking corn gun, I love that thing.
I decided I wasn't going to give them money. You've pissed me off. Alright. Spoiler warning, I'm not going to give you 5 seconds. This game's several years old. They killed the main character of their fucking game, and I don't even like Desmond Miles that much, but they murdered Desmond Miles, the main character of their fucking game.
I will say it was a clever swerve of them not to have Betray, the character I've been referring to as Betray,
Sean, the British one.
Not be the one who betrays you, but instead it was not Buffy.
Yep. But I cannot possibly be fucked to care about your series anymore. You have effectively de-invested me in your series. Because he died in a stupid way that was super avoidable, that made no sense, and didn't even make sense from the character's perspective of what he had done up to that point. It was retarded to the nth degree. So I decided I'm not paying any more money for these games. I still like them mechanically, but I didn't want to pay any more money for them. So I haven't. Games with Gold, the Xbox 360, because we still have our 360, we still use it regularly, gave me Black Flag for free. So I was like, well, fuck, if I don't have to pay money for it, I understand that this game is widely hailed as the best in the series. So I started playing it, and then I spent 8 hours doing so. This game is the best in the series. That is, I can agree with the rest of the internet. Holy shit, it is so satisfying just to sail around on my fucking pirate ship, singing pirate shanties and killing motherfuckers and taking their loots.
I might pick this one up. At least for a little. I've got so many other games to play.
The character, I also try and play Assassin's Creed games a little bit in character. So I try and be very stealthy because they're assassins. Up until this point, they've all been members of the Assassin Order. You know, of course they're going to be stealthy. That's their whole fucking shtick. Fucking Edward Kenway? Nope. That's not, he's a pirate. He is a fucking scoundrelous, amoral pirate. So, I try and be stealthy because it's more expedient, but if I get caught, instead of restarting the level, which is what I used to do because I wanted to run a good stealth run, I just go, alright, fuck it. Let's go. You wanna go? You wanna go, motherfucker? Let's go! And then I kill like 20 dudes. If someone's annoying me, I just murder them. I can play it a little bit more fast and loose than usual, which is very freeing, by the way.
Shit, yeah, it is. It's nice.
I'm not quite to your level of fast and loose. He used to, instead of being an assassin with hidden blades and stealth, he would grab a giant hammer in Assassin's Creed 2, which is the one he played. You could get a big hammer instead of a sword. He used a big hammer. He would walk up to people without even trying to hide and crush their skull.
I'd love to defend myself on this, and I will in a moment, but please carry on.
But honestly, I'm playing through the main storyline. I wanted to play through the main storyline until they gave me all the pirate shit I wanted. I just started the part of the main storyline where I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be joining the Assassin Order just now. I will do that and then promptly not give a fuck anymore because I didn't even know I got from the name of the quest that that's probably what was going to happen, but ultimately, I don't really give a fuck about the Assassin Order. I'm going to go back and be a pirate. I'm going to go sink some ships, get some more gold and loots, make my ship better to sink more ships. I have a whole fleet of ships. I send them on missions. It's really, really, really fun. I'm just a pirate. I'm just playing a pirate. The only reason I really want to go to town at this point is to go find the other sea shanties.
That's delightful. I noticed some of the shanties they were singing were like actual sea shanties.
I think they're all actual sea shanties.
Which reminds me of something Elder Scrolls related. You know the song, I think the Orcs, or maybe the Redguards sing in Skyrim when you're sneaking up on them about old Stros Mackay?
Yeah.
You can go to Stros Mackay in Elder Scrolls Online. Like, it's a big part of the Dawnguard Covenant.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Anyway. So Assassin's Creed, for me, like, I watched you play most of the first game. To the extent that I really didn't need to play it, I basically watched a Let's Play of it. And it was the second most frustrating shit I've ever seen anybody get on GameFly. Like, you had fun with it, but it would have pissed me off.
Oh, the first game would easily piss most people off. Look, those games are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I like their plots, because I am kind of a fan of extra convoluted bullshit for no reason. Those plots are so needlessly fucking convoluted.
Look, okay, and you know what? I played the second game, and I was fine with, there's the Animus shit, with fucking Abstergo, this, that, and the other thing, and then there's the world that you care about with Ezio and all that shit. Then they added Layer 3 when you open up Dianetics and start fighting Avatar, not the Last Airbender. And I was like,
yeah, what? The fucking space aliens.
I got to the end of 2, and I was like, the shit is this?
You got to the part of Scientology where they start mentioning Xenu, and you were like, hold on, wait a minute, what?
I'm sorry. What?
Actually, I believe when you saw me, because they mentioned in the first game that, the Apple of Eden is a relic from a precursor race, and they talk about all this. In the second game, when you enter the tomb of, the Brotherhood, the game after the second game, the 2.5. Not 2.75, which is Revelations. 2.5. When I ended up in the tomb of, maybe that was 2, I forget, of one of these precursor aliens, and you finally, here, these are fucking aliens, they're space aliens, only they're not, they're super better double humans,
Well, it's the end of 2, because I saw it firsthand.
Yeah, it's the end of 2.
And it's not even that they're aliens and super better double humans. They're also the Roman gods.
Yep, they're also the Roman
And I'm just like, okay, this is the kind of shit you can have in your world if you set it up. But if you try to Vince Russo me, and it's like, oh, it didn't happen. It was Big Show the whole time, but Big Show isn't Big Show. He's actually 2 Vince McMahons in a Big Show suit. And those Vince McMahons are robots! Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out of Assassin's Creed! Get the fuck out, Vince Russo!
Yeah, and I believe, when this reveal happened, I believe you actually sat the controller down, because I was there. You sat the controller down and said, wait, what? And then you just laughed for a little while.
Because it was the dumbest shit I'd ever... Fucking everybody's like, oh, fucking Assassin's Creed, man. Fucking Assassin's Creed so good, man. Fucking Assassin's Creed. Okay, fine, internet, shut the fuck up, and we'll try your fucking game. But not the first one. That looked dumb. Second one sounds cool. I'm Italian, so I can get behind all the Italianness. And I enjoyed it. Like, I didn't play it straight up because there's something Assassin's Creed does that pisses me off. I love Metal Gear. I love sneaking in Metal Gear. I love not killing people in Metal Gear. That's really cool to me. Assassin's Creed, because of the nature of it being open world, because they can't plot your path to give you obstacles in that way, they kind of just have to throw random shit at you. So, like, there's artificial barriers to certain paths that if you break them, it's like, uh-oh, sequence fucking disestablished or whatever. There's bullshit guards just living on the roofs of everything. That
does start to... you know what? I can understand it in 2, because by the time they show up in 2, you have made a reputation as the murder guy who hangs out on roofs.
That's fine. They pace that well.
In 3, those motherfuckers start out on the roofs. And in Black Flag, and actually a point that bothered me was... the first city I went to, there's fucking guards all over the roofs. And I don't know why. Why are there fucking guards on the roofs? There's no roof murderers. I'm the roof murderer. It makes sense because in this setting, the town that I was in is controlled by the Templars. So of course there are roof guards.
Well, and that...
because they're fighting the Roof Murder Society.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still like... You're not challenging me, you're obstructing me.
You see it more as it's not like, alright, I need to get around all these roof guards to get where I need to go. It's goddamn fucking roof guards. Alright.
Yeah, it's not, to me, that's not fun. Fun is, okay, I've got my path and what I need to do, and I need to figure out how to do it. The other problem is, because the view is not fixed in any way, you sometimes run across a random roof guard.
And you didn't know he was there until he started shooting you.
No. And their view cones are not always 100%. I got tired of that shit real fast. I got tired of putting my everything into doing a good stealth run only for some bullshit roof guard that shouldn't have fucking been there to appear and be like, I can't even think of any fucking, buongiorno and shoot me. I was like, no, fuck it. So I went to the store in my town and I bought the biggest fuck-off hammer I could find.
And then when bullshit roof guard showed up, it was like, fine. You want to go? Crunch. Done.
Yeah, it was like, when you do those side missions, like, please pick up a decent drop box. I would go to where the drop box was, and there were guards there, and I was like, oh, hey, how's it going, fuckers? Did I get the drop on you? Do I get to double stab you? No, I pressed the wrong button at the wrong time, so I kind of shuffled my feet a bit, which clearly means I'm an assassin. That was the other shit that pissed me off. God forbid you run through a fucking city street. Oh, no running in Italy! Look, I know it was bad back then, but it wasn't that fucking bad. Anyway, instead of it being like, oh, well, okay, I guess I gotta stealth away and then maybe try to stealth kill me. No, fucking hammer. Does anybody else wanna go? I saw him murder money. No, you didn't. This is my box and I'm gone.
Money, no, you didn't. You didn't see nothing. Throw money at them.
So I finished 2, and I didn't care enough for 2.5. We didn't get 2.75. 3 came along, and I love the multiplayer in these games. That stealth is shit, and I love it. For example, because there's not just bullshit roof guards. The only thing you gotta watch out for is other players who are playing like a fucking person in that world would. Because you know what? I think regular fucking people are gonna start asking questions when a motherfucker's just standing on roofs all the time. hey, maybe there's a conspiracy or some shit. You know, this is kind of weird. Assassin's Creed makes me real mad. Assassin's Creed makes me Propeller Knight mad. So I started playing 3, and despite way too much at the beginning with fucking Desmond, they gave me Hatham. And
who is Pimp.
He's a cool motherfucker. He handles his shit. That guy is in charge of all things within his vicinity.
But he's a bad guy. He's a Templar.
I don't...
You don't, as you stated before, you do not buy into the assassin propaganda.
It sounds like propaganda to me. Look, I mean, I'm sure they're both bad and good. They're both shades of gray. But not one of you isn't fucking holy and righteous. No matter which one calls yourselves the Templars, you're both fucking assholes. So, you're both assholes vying for power. Don't pretend like it's anything different. I digress. Hatham's really cool. And I love Native Americans. I love, that you can explore the wilderness in this colonial setting. Like, a lot of the shit I've seen you doing, getting fucking bear pelts and, hunting and...
I made so much. I was rich. I was the richest Native American in American history because I went and personally killed every bear in the Northeast.
The Northwest Passage is clean.
Of fucking bears because I stabbed them all in the base of the brain with my fucking hidden blade from a tree.
I wanted to do this shit, but in order to do that shit, I have to play your bullshit fucking story. And part of playing your bullshit fucking story means leaving behind fucking Hatham with his fucking tricorn hat and his corn gun. And
Renekton also has a corn gun.
Yeah, but he's not as cool about it. And that's fucking... When Benjamin Franklin showed up, he was Ben Franklin. He was a horny old fuck. But, when he showed up and started talking to me, I'm like, Ben Franklin, I'm so tired of your fucking shit. I've just met you and I'm done. I am fucking done. Corn gun, bye, Ben Franklin. Eat your corn. Fucking Ben Franklin. Find my missing pages and go fuck yourself with a dick. Go find a dick and fuck you with it. Fuck you. I'm gonna go into these secret underground passages and I don't know what's going on. I don't know where they lead. I'm confused and I've been here for 3 hours, but I'm having more fun than I did when I was talking to Benjamin Franklin. What finally broke me on that game and trying to move forward, I was walking. I walked. I turned a corner and with no rhyme or reason, suddenly I was fighting guards.
What had happened was there were guards at the front of that corner, in the hallway, saying, go into this hallway. And he crossed the line into trying to go into the hallway burg. So they decided he needed to be murdered.
But there was no indication of this. It was just like...
No, there's never... You get a little restricted area red box, but unfortunately, if you are dumb enough to walk right into the guard's face... You cross that red box when they're looking right at you. And you happen to do it around the corner.
I mean, it was just the dumbest fucking luck. And I was like, no, I murdered the fuck out of those guards and hid them somewhere. Some colonial woman was like, oh, scandal. And I was like, fucking gold or corn or whatever the fuck gets you off. Save and quit.
Corn gun, gold gun, whatever. My sleeves are infinite fountains of bullshit.
Black Flag looks like it might not be quite as much of a pain in the ass.
I patted a dog. I spent
patting dogs.
Patting dogs.
That was something else, man. I don't have to kill dogs. I hate having to kill dogs in games. It bothers me enough in Hotline Miami.
Oh yeah, because there was. Oh no, I remember that. The one moment the only moment in video games where I've seen you fucking recoil and go, "What the fuck did you just do?" Was there was a guard dog in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I think it was, that wouldn't fucking leave me alone. I tried to get around him. He sniffed me out. I tried to hide. He found me. He was barking. He was blowing my cover, so I had to kill him. And that's a fucking brutal ass murder scene when you kill it. I guess Ezio has something against dogs. It might have been Connor. I forget. It was either 2 or 3. And you were like, whoa, whoa, whoa! He's seen me fucking eviscerate dudes, stab them right through the fucking neck, out the back of their head, and then throw them over a cliff.
Good. That's where they belong.
Whereas fucking Poochie gets it, and then he's like, I'm out.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole because there's nothing good there. But, yeah, I would learn to deal with that. I'd be like, I'd kill them in the least graphic way possible. Like, I'd shoot them from afar or something. I wouldn't be like, fuck you, guard dog! You know, whatever I had to do to be me. It's just, there's so much bullshit between the start of the game and the game that, like...
You just lost interest.
I was just like, this game is taking too long to be a game. These are the weirdest, unskippable cutscenes ever. I gotta push all kinds of fucking buttons for y'all. Let me through them. So, before we go into anything else, because we are reaching the hour mark here, there was a podcast we were going to do that was suggested to us by one of the listeners. And we had every intention of doing it. And that was a podcast about graphic novels and what graphic novels we like and, you know, what we thought about graphic novels as a whole, as a media genre. And you were all ready and raring to go. You've read a bunch. I've read most of several. But it's safe to say my experience is limited. So I went online to look at a list of graphic novels. Unless I'm mistaken, it turns out most things that are considered graphic novels and not like a published anthology, which is like comics that, you know, actually had a run.
Trade paperback.
Yeah, trade paperback, basically. Most of the shit that I read that I remembered fondly were trade paperbacks, or even hardbacks, but they were a trade. The only graphic novels I've read have been either by Alan Moore,
or about Batman.
And mostly just the ones by Alan Moore. So, as much fun as it might be to fillet the dick of that mad snake-worshipping weirdo, and or Batman. Oh, that would have been so much better if I said and or Alan Moore. Oh, fuck, I fucked that joke right up. You know, it was just, it wasn't going to be a fun podcast. There wasn't going to be a lot to talk about. I mean, I can wind the boy up and tell him to just start fucking talking about Batman, and he won't stop. But
I'm like that little symbol monkey, only every time the symbols come together, it's just Batman, 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 Batman.
It just, there wasn't, like that's trying to ask somebody, you know, what they think about television as a medium, and they're like, well, I saw, Roseanne and 4 episodes of Mad Men.
That's what I got.
So, I mean, it's been pretty okay. It's had its ups and downs, but, you know.
I have slightly more experience with graphic novels. But to be honest, it would mostly be me talking about Batman and then Watchmen. Because I really love Watchmen, as completely expected as that is from anyone who's read comics. It's like, oh, I'm not very original, but it's still true that, as far as I'm concerned, it's probably the best graphic novel.
I'll add my endorsement to that.
But all the rest of my favorite graphic novels are Batman.
Or, much as with me, turned out to be trades.
Yep. So we don't have enough material for a podcast there, which is sad because it's a really solid idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and we always love doing ideas that you guys came up with because we like to build a connection with you, listener. But, there's not enough there. There's not enough there for us. We are not the people to talk about that. You might as well ask us how we feel about Darfur.
Please don't.
Well, we won't tell you, because it's not that kind of podcast. When we talk about sad stuff...
But, like, in private life, like, if you meet me on the street, also not then.
What the fucking line to open up with? Hey, it's the boy from the Two Nerds podcast. I don't know how I recognize you, but I do. Maybe I heard you talking or something. Hey, how do you feel about Darfur? Hello, fan. Yes, I will sign your boob, but go away. Thank you, sir. Please put your boob back. So yeah, formal apology. I will not name him because I don't want to do that, but formal apology to the listener who suggested that idea. I still think it's a winner of an idea. I just think we're a loser of a podcast.
We are not the equal of that idea.
No, we are not. Maybe someday after we've read some graphic novels that aren't just depressing and about cancer or World War II.
There's so many of those, you guys. So many.
Like, I was looking at the list and I was like, geez.
So many.
What is this, the History Channel?
So
and
many
Lifetime?
So many cancer graphic novels. The only other thing I've been doing recently is I've been rereading the most recent book in the Dresden Files because Jim Butcher is taking longer to make books than he used to back in the day, so there's not going to be a Dresden Files book this year, and I'm kind of jonesing. But that's what I've been doing when I haven't been playing Assassin's Creed. And real talk, I'm either going to go read that book or play Assassin's Creed once this podcast is done.
I watched the entire first series of Kuroko no Basket, which is fucking amazing for what it is.
That being a basketball anime?
Well, and again, it's another thing I checked out at Dodger's suggestion. Which, and let me go back to that for just a second. Final Fantasy XIV isn't bad. It's just
not what you're there.
Why would I pay $15 a month for this? I don't even think I would play it if it were free to play, but I can see why somebody would. I don't understand why you pay $15 a month for that.
There's not really many MMOs that I would pay $15 a month for at all.
Look, Rift is free. I don't like Rift because it's just WoW again. Like, it's barely creative. They have a couple of cool ideas, but it's not.
It's mostly just WoW.
Yeah. Alods is one of the parts of Alods. It's free to play. Go fucking play Alods. That's fucking incredible. I don't, because I don't speak Russian. Tragically. And, like, all of their patch notes are so fucking broken English on the English side that it's like, I have no idea what is getting changed. All ability, no remove.
Okay.
What? Good. Is it good?
Is it bad?
Can I... They just added cat people to Alods that are like pandering. They can go on either side. But anyway, Dodger suggested Kuroko no Basket. She wouldn't shut up about it for about a year. And I was like, you know what, I've got Crunchyroll. The anime we were going to watch isn't on here. Boy and I watch Rurouni Kenshin. I'm going to check out Kuroko. It's a shonen anime about basketball instead of kung fu.
Apparently it's very good.
Yeah, it's fun as fuck. I really enjoy it.
Don't give even 1/8 of the necessary amount of fucks, that being any, to watch it, because it's just not my, like, I don't care.
I think if for some reason you started watching it, like if instead of me watching it privately on TV in Japanese, or on the computer in Japanese, I was watching it publicly in English, that you might get into it. Like, really get into it.
Or if you were deciding to just watch something on the TV, which is weird, and you were watching it in Japanese on the TV, that would be fine too.
Within sight distance so that you could read the subtitles, yeah. I think you might really get into it, but I'm not gonna be like, watch this! You know, we can watch some other shonen anime. We can watch the last 4 shitty episodes of Ron and Kenny.
Ron and Kenny!
The one with the sumo guy was pretty good.
He's
pretty shit.
He's not been a fan of the Ron and Kenny since the podcast.
I'm still watching it, but you know.
That's about it. We have some more stuff.
I could have ranted about MOBAs, but I'll save it for some other time.
We're about the end of the time here. It's been a good time talking to you, listener. I feel like we covered a lot. I feel like we caught you up on our lives and our opinions on various things.
Such as they are.
We did one nerd stuff. We don't do much else.
Yeah, I mean, well, and we're not bleeding edge on a lot of things. So it's like Mortal Kombat 10, for example.
Is at least one entire...
About a year and a half old.
Yeah, about a year and a half old. At least one entire Assassin's Creed old. I ain't playing Unity.
Well, it's just bad.
I ain't playing Unity. I have heard nothing but bad things.
But like I was saying earlier, Mortal Kombat 10, this is just really a Mortal Kombat house.
Rather, he loves Mortal Kombat. Full disclosure, listener, it's not a Mortal Kombat house because of me. I don't give much of a fuck about Mortal Kombat.
Well, I mean, like...
It's just not...
It's not even at the top of my list. So, you know, even if... Unless I had suddenly weird-ass amounts of disposable income that I didn't want to spend on other things. By the way, I feel I should apologize specifically because... The reason we're not getting a condenser mic, sooner, is because of, Elder Scrolls Online. Sorry. He'll have to deal with the shitty old mic for a little while longer, friend. But, you know, if I had the kind of disposable income to buy a game every couple of weeks, Yeah, I might have grabbed Mortal Kombat, but with our regular income at the rate at which we buy games, it is not important enough for me to buy on launch day.
I'm a Namco fighter guy. That's how I roll.
I'll get it eventually, but it's like later.
Yeah.
Fucking later, when I know what all the DLC is.
But I mean, there's a couple other things that I thought about talking about, but I think we're at time. Is there anything one last thing you wanted to mention to the listener?
You look nice today.
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's get hardcore!